Meet Lucy. Lucy's 28, works a decent job making $65,000 a year, and somehow she's broke by the 20th of every month. Not, I can't buy that yacht broke. We're talking, I just bought a single banana and had to check my account balance broke. Last Tuesday, Lucy treated herself to a $14 artisanal oat milk latte with a pump of lavender syrup because Mercury was in retrograde and she deserved it. Thursday, she Uber Eats a $32 burrito at 11 p.m. Saturday, she impulse bought a $180 ceramic mushroom lamp on Instagram because the ad said it would change her energy. It did not change her energy. It sits in the corner, unplugged, judging her life choices. But here's the plot twist. Lucy's coworker Janet makes the same salary. Janet drives the same boring Honda Civic. Janet wears clothes from normal stores. Yet somehow, Janet just put a down payment on a condo, has a 6-month emergency fund, and goes on 2 vacations a year. Does Janet have a rich uncle? Did she just get an inheritance? Nope. Janet just does 10 incredibly boring things that save her an absurd amount of money. And today, we're going to break down those 10 habits that are so boring, so unwoke, so absolutely mind-numbing that most people would rather stay broke than do them. But here's the thing. In 2026, boring is profitable. Boring builds wealth, and boring lets you retire before you're 60. So grab your calculator and let's dive into the 10 most boring habits that'll save you serious money. Habit 1. Meal prepping like a crazy person. Lucy spends about $450 a month eating out. That's $5,400 a year on food that she forgets tastes good the second she finishes eating it. Janet spends 3 hours every Sunday batch cooking chicken, rice, and vegetables like she's preparing for the apocalypse. She makes the same 7 meals on rotation. It's boring. It's repetitive. It's the culinary equivalent of watching paint dry. But it costs her $200 a month. That's $250 saved monthly, $3,000 a year. And that's not even counting investment returns. But I don't have time, Lucy says while scrolling TikTok for 47 minutes. Here's the truth. Meal prepping isn't glamorous. You won't get Instagram likes for your Tuesday's lunch of chicken, broccoli, and brown rice. The same chicken, broccoli, and brown rice you ate Monday and Wednesday and Thursday. But you know what's even less glamorous? Being 45 and still living paycheck to paycheck because treat yourself turned into a lifestyle. Meal prep is boring wealth building, and boring is beautiful when your bank account looks healthy. Habit 2. Using a grocery list like it's the Constitution. Janet walks into the grocery store with a list, an actual written down, boring, methodical list. Lucy walks into Target for shampoo and walks out $140 poorer with decorative hand towels, a candle that smells like coastal grandmother, and a fro pillow she'll never use. The shampoo? She forgot the shampoo. Studies show people who shop with a list spend 23% less than people who don't. That's not a small number. On a $400 monthly grocery bill, that's $92 saved monthly or $1,104 per year. But here's what makes this habit truly boring. You have to actually follow the list. You can't see the fancy cheese and think, well, I'm a fancy cheese person now. You're not. You're a regular cheese person trying to build wealth. Janet knows exactly what she's buying before she walks in. She checks her pantry. She plans her meals. She doesn't browse. Browsing is the enemy of your bank account. Lucy browses. Lucy sees what looks good. Lucy leaves with $80 of what looked good and nothing to make an actual meal with. Make a list. Follow the list. Be boring. Be rich. Habit 3. Packing lunch like a first grader. Remember how your mom used to pack your lunch in elementary school? Janet does that for herself as a grown adult. Every morning, Janet packs a sandwich, some fruit, and snacks into a little insulated lunch bag. It takes 6 minutes. It's incredibly boring. Her coworkers probably think she's weird. But those coworkers spend $12 to $15 per day on lunch. That's $60 to $75 per week, $240 to $300 per month, roughly $3,000 to $3,600 per year. Janet spends maybe $2 to $3 per lunch she packs. That's $10 to $15 per week, $40 to $60 per month, about $600 per year. She's saving around $3,000 a year by being boring at lunchtime. But lunch is my social time, Lucy protests while eating a $16 salad that's mostly iceberg lettuce and regret. Here's the compromise. Pack lunch 4 days a week, go out once. You're still saving $2,400 annually. That's a decent vacation. That's 2 to 3 months of rent. Or, keep buying $16 salads and wondering why you're broke. Your choice. Habit 4. Drinking water like it's your job. Janet drinks water. Just water. Boring, regular, free water. Lucy drinks a $6 cold brew every morning, a $5 energy drink at 2 p.m., and an $8 smoothie 3 times a week. That's roughly $250 per month, or $3,000 per year on beverages. Think about that. $3,000 on liquids that you pee out. "But coffee is my personality," Lucy exclaims. No, Lucy, coffee is not a personality trait. Coffee is a beverage corporation's marketing department convincing you that spending $2,000 a year at Starbucks makes you interesting. Janet makes coffee at home. It costs her about $20 a month. She drinks it from a boring travel mug that she's had since 2019. The mug isn't aesthetic. It doesn't photograph well. It has a small dent. But her retirement account? That photographs beautifully. Make coffee at home. Drink water. Be boring. Habit 5. Using the library like it's 1995. Lucy has subscriptions to Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, HBO Max, Paramount+, Apple TV+, Spotify Premium, Audible, Kindle Unlimited, and 3 other services she forgot she's paying for. Total monthly cost, about $180. That's $2,160 per year for content she definitely doesn't have time to consume while working 40 hours a week. Janet? Janet has a library card. Yes, a library card, that boring, free, ancient piece of plastic that your grandma told you about. The library has books, obviously, but also audiobooks, ebooks, movies, music streaming, and sometimes even free passes to museums and events. Cost? $0. Zero. "But I need my shows," Lucy insists. Do you, though? Do you really need 8 streaming services, or have you just been convinced by subscription creep that you do? Keep 1 or 2 streaming services. Use the library for everything else. It's boring as hell. It requires planning. You might have to wait for popular books. But you know what's not boring? Having an extra $1,800 in your savings account.
Habit 6. Driving your car until it's a historical artifact. Lucy drives a 2022 SUV. It's nice, it's shiny, it has heated seats and a backup camera and Bluetooth, and a payment of $520 per month. Janet drives a 2014 Honda Civic with 160,000 miles on it. The passenger window makes a weird noise. There's a mysterious stain on the back seat from 2018. The aux cord is the only way to play music. It's paid off. Lucy will pay $31,200 over 5 years for her car loan, plus probably another $15,000 in higher insurance because new cars cost more to insure. That's $46,200. Janet paid $8,000 for her car in cash 4 years ago. She's driven it for 4 years for basically just gas, insurance, and maintenance. She'll probably drive it for another 4 years. "But I want a nice car," Lucy says. You know what's nicer than a new car? Not having a $520 monthly payment. That $520 invested over those 5 years at a 7% return becomes about $37,000. Drive boring cars. Fix them when they break. Don't replace them until they're literally dying. It's not sexy, your friends might judge you, but those friends are also broke, so maybe don't take financial advice from them. Habit 7. Cutting your own hair, or at least spacing out cuts. Okay, hear me out on this one. Lucy gets her hair cut and colored every 6 weeks. Each visit costs $180. That's $1,560 per year on hair maintenance. Janet gets her hair cut every 4 months at a cheap place for $35. That's $105 per year. That's a $1,455 difference annually for hair that grows back. Now, I'm not saying you need to buzz cut yourself in your bathroom at 2 a.m. while having an existential crisis, but maybe you don't need a $180 haircut every 6 weeks. Some boring alternatives? Go to a beauty school where students cut hair for $15 to $20. Learn to trim your own hair between professional cuts. Embrace the slightly longer than planned look. Find a cheaper stylist who does good work. "But my hair is important to me," Lucy protests. Sure. And Janet's retirement account is important to her. We all have priorities. Look, I get it. This one stings a little because personal grooming feels personal. But if you're spending $1,500 yearly on hair while having credit card debt, maybe we need to reevaluate what important means. Be boring. Let your hair grow out a bit. Save the money. Habit 8. Buying generic everything. Janet buys generic. Generic cereal, generic medicine, generic paper towels, generic everything. Lucy buys name brands because you can taste the difference. Can you, though? Can you really taste the difference between Frosted Flakes and crispy hexagons? Because I'm pretty sure they're made in the same factory by the same depressed workers, just with different boxes. Studies show generic brands are typically 25 to 30% cheaper than name brands. On a $400 monthly grocery bill, that's $100 saved per month, or $1,200 per year. The only difference? The name brands spent $50 million on advertising to convince you their slightly sweeter cardboard is superior to the generic slightly sweeter cardboard. Here's the boring truth. For like 90% of products, generic is identical. Same ingredients, same manufacturers, different label. There are exceptions. Sometimes name brand quality actually matters. But for things like medicine, spices, basic groceries, and cleaning supplies, go generic. It's boring. The packaging isn't as pretty. You won't feel like a fancy person buying fancy brand pasta, but you know what you will feel like? A fancy person with money in your bank account.
Habit 9. Exercising at home like a peasant. Lucy has a gym membership that costs $85 per month. She goes twice a month. That's $42.50 per workout. She could have just set $40 on fire and gotten the same result, except with better lighting. Janet does boring bodyweight exercises in her living room while watching YouTube videos from a fitness channel that has 847 subscribers and production quality from 2009. Cost? Free. $0. But I need the gym motivation, Lucy insists, while not going to the gym. Listen, if you actually use your gym membership regularly, great, keep it. But statistically, most people pay for gyms they don't use. It's a $1,020 annual donation to a company that doesn't need it. Meanwhile, Janet does push-ups, squats, and planks while her cat judges her. She goes for boring runs in her neighborhood. She does boring stretches while watching TV. Total annual cost? $0. Total saved compared to unused gym membership? $1,020. Cancel the gym. Exercise at home. It's boring. There's no juice bar. No cute workout outfits are required. Just you, your floor, and the existential dread of burpees. But hey, at least you're saving $1,000 a year. Habit 10. Using a budget app like it's life or death. Here's the most boring habit of all, the one that makes people's eyes glaze over faster than a lecture on tax code. Janet tracks every single dollar she spends. Every single dollar. She uses a boring budget app. She categorizes her spending. She reviews it weekly. She adjusts her budget monthly. It's incredibly tedious. It's about as exciting as watching grass grow in real time. Lucy has no idea where her money goes. It just goes. She makes $65,000, but somehow she's always broke. It's a mystery, a financial Bermuda Triangle. Except it's not a mystery. Lucy spends $80 here, $45 there, $120 on something else. It adds up. It always adds up. The boring truth? You cannot improve what you don't measure. Janet knows exactly where every dollar goes. $1,400 to rent, she has a roommate, $200 to groceries, $150 to utilities, and so on. Because she tracks everything, she knows where she can cut back. She knows her spending patterns. She knows her weak spots. Lucy just knows she's broke again and has no idea why. Tracking your spending is boring. Nobody wants to do it. Nobody's going to congratulate you for logging your $3.47 purchase at CVS. But this boring habit is the foundation of every other boring habit. Because if you don't know where your money's going, you can't stop it from going there. Download a budget app, track your spending, review it weekly. It's boring as hell. It's also the difference between being broke and being wealthy. So here's where Lucy is 1 year later. She didn't implement all 10 habits immediately because that would be insane. She started with 3: meal prepping, packing lunch, and tracking her spending. Those 3 boring habits alone saved her about $400 per month. That's $4,800 per year. Then she added 3 more: buying generic, making coffee at home, and spacing out haircuts. Another $250 per month saved. That's another $3,000 annually. In 1 year, by being strategically boring, Lucy saved $7,800.
She paid off her credit card debt, she started an emergency fund, she stopped having panic attacks when checking her bank account. She's still not as good as Janet. Janet's basically a savings machine at this point, but Lucy's getting there. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Getting rich isn't exciting. It's not Instagram worthy. It's not going to make you feel like a genius or impress your friends. Getting rich is boring. It's meal prepping the same chicken every Sunday. It's driving your paid-off car with the weird window noise. It's drinking water instead of $7 cold brew. It's packing a sad little lunch in a Tupperware container. It's 1,000 tiny, boring, unsexy decisions that add up over time. The exciting stuff, the new car, the fancy dinners, the designer clothes, the Instagram-worthy lifestyle, that stuff keeps you broke. The boring stuff sets you free. So here's my challenge to you. Pick 3 boring habits from this list. Just 3. Implement them for 60 days and track how much you save. I guarantee it'll be more than you think, because boring compounds. Boring builds wealth, and boring gives you the freedom to eventually do the exciting stuff without stress. Janet's going to Japan next month. She saved for it by being boring for 2 years. She's going to have an exciting, incredible, debt-free vacation. Lucy's still paying off that ceramic mushroom lamp. Be more like Janet. Be boring. Be wealthy. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and drop a comment telling me which boring habit you're going to implement first. Thanks for watching. Now go be boring. Your future self will thank you.